Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
You know, Max, I'd be doing a lot better if this team knew how to make open threes.
I agree, Caden, because although in yesterday's episode we were doing fantastic, it is now Nuggets episode, and it was a tough one against, I guess we hop right into the Oklahoma State loss first right away, get that nasty sour taste out your mouth right away, because that's the most freshest game that just happened.
Yeah, so we're recording this a day earlier than we usually do because if you guys heard in the conference tournament episode, Max is going to be in Kansas City
I'm
this
in
whole
Kansas
week.
City right now.
Yeah, he's in Kansas City as this is live for the Big 12 tournament. So we're doing our NBA episode on Sunday afternoon just after the Nuggets lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, so we won't see what happens on the back-to-back. On Monday night, you guys will. Hopefully they remember that they're the Nuggets and they need to win these games. They need to beat the Thunder here.
And maybe the refs actually give us a call and decide not to just hate the Nuggets.
Yeah, that was bad. You look at this game, the Thunder, it was an interesting game because the Nuggets started off great. They started the game on a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
Then the Thunder are coming back. They get outscored in the second, get outscored in the third, but they're keeping it close. Then they get outscored by 21 in the fourth. It was the free throw discrepancy. The Nuggets, the thing that really killed them, they shot 11 of 20 from the charity stripe. You got to make your free throws. You got to make, especially as an NBA team. Like we just talked about college yesterday. They're not great at free throws. The Nuggets looked like a college team when it came to shooting free throws today. They were 11 of 20. The Thunder were 22 of 25. So that's a very big difference right there.
Correct.
Also, yeah, with them getting a lot more calls, I mean, Chet had a great game of this, but also he should have fouled out early in the fourth quarter where he came back in with 5 fouls, stabs Russ in the eye with his finger, and the ref just doesn't see it, call it. Chet should have been out. We should have been having just Isaiah Hartenstein in for like the last 8 minutes of that game where Jokic can really go to work on him. I mean, we saw Jokic was a little off in this after in the first quarter. Fell down hard on his right elbow, and it seemed like it did affect him a little bit. I mean, Porter, he had a great game today, 15 rebounds out of him, which is kind of crazy to see. He had 24 and 15, which is awesome to see out of Porter. AG, though, left in the first quarter after having that calf is still bugging him.
It is. Just give him more time off if he needs it. Don't rush him back.
Well, it didn't seem like you saw what he did. We're going to get to it, but against that Suns game, which we're going to harp on here in a sec, he made 7 threes. He had 27 points. He was amazing. And then tonight he doesn't play, so you're getting extended minutes out of Zeke Naji, which just isn't what you want to see.
That's not his role.
Like I know he's been playing better as of late, but he's still not that good. And with the Julian Strawther injury, we're seeing a lot of minutes out of Jalen Pickett. He played actually 16 minutes. Wasn't great. It wasn't awful, but we'd like to see more. Just besides Christian Brown, Jokic, and Porter, just wasn't great out of the team. You were playing really bad defense. They were making a lot of their shots. They didn't make a lot of threes, which neither team did. They were missing. Nuggets were 12 of 40. Thunder were 13 of 38. You're missing a lot of just wide open threes that really could have started swinging this game, especially in that third quarter when the Thunder couldn't buy a three. You were getting a lot of good open looks, and you also just couldn't bank it in. And then Shea dropped 40, J-Dub 26. Just a lot of these players were just having very good offensive games. That was when you were not making your free throws, turning the ball over on a lot of bad, like they had 12 blocks, the Thunder did. Not what you want to see. It was just a bad game all around by the Nuggets, especially in that fourth quarter. Like, started the game off great, had a very good third quarter, especially defensively. Not great shooting-wise, but the defense that quarter was great. And then you collapsed in the fourth.
All right, kid. And I think we should talk about a better game where we didn't actually collapse. Well, I guess we kind of collapsed.
We did kind of collapse.
Yeah. But where we ended up winning in overtime, which was a thriller. Jokic against Kevin Durant. Against the Suns, Caden. Nuggets pull it out in overtime.
Yeah, it started off as just a great game for the Nuggets. The first 3 quarters, they're cruising, they're looking great. And then the Suns start coming back. They tie the game up at 122. Jokic driving up the middle, kicks back out to CB, drains the top of the key 3 to go up 125, 122.
With the second half.
With 1.4 seconds left. They inbound it to D-Book, who swings it to a wide open Kevin Durant in the corner.
Kevin Durant wide open?
One of the greatest shooters of all time. You're just leaving him wide open in the corner. Yeah.
Easy shot. And of course, KD just
does what KD does. Yeah.
Drops it down. That was a dirty, cold. That was cold. He walked straight to the sideline after, too. That was cold.
The crazy part, though, is overtime's only 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
There was 40 points scored in this overtime. Nuggets actually win this game by 8. They were 7.5 point favorites in this game. They end up covering the game in overtime needing to win by 8. The big story, obviously, though.
I was going to say, we haven't even talked about
we're talking about the big story here. Nikola Jokic, the third ever 20-20-20 game, but the first ever 30-20-20 game. 31 points, 21 boards, and a new career high 22 assists.
Caden, if it wasn't for the fact that Shea likes to drop 40 on the Nuggets' heads and we like to loosen the Thunder every time, Jokic would be the clear frontrunner for the MVP.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very, very close. I think the fact that the Nuggets did end up losing to the Thunder, we're going to see on this back-to-back, obviously, which we don't know the outcome yet. But that, I think, definitely hurts the MVP chance. And not just that, the Thunder are so far ahead in the first.
They're fighting with the Celtics and Cavs for the best record in the NBA,
Correct.
Which also helps. But also, Jokic is having one of the best statistical seasons of all time.
Yeah,
just of all time.
Who does 31-20-20 has never been done. He's doing what's never been done every other night.
Yeah. It's not since Wilt or Oscar Robertson or stuff like that. It's like, he is insane. This team should be better than they are. They should be up there with the Thunder competing for this number 1 seed. And instead, they're fighting with the Lakers, who are still looking amazing. I know we talked about that. They're still looking amazing. For the 2 seed, they just keep flip-flopping back and forth because they have a game discrepancy right now. So it's half point here, half game here. So we do get to see another matchup against the Lakers coming up, which will be big. But they need to stop, when you get on a lead, stop letting teams come back. And just the big ones I know you're not the great, your 3-point.
You don't even shoot a lot of threes.
You don't even shoot a lot of threes, but your 3-point percentage is one of the better in the league.
It is.
But you got to, when it comes down to the clutch, to these when you get open threes, you need to make those, whether it be Porter, Jamal, Christian Brown, even Yoke. He was, I think, 1 of 9 from 3 today. I mean, Shea dropped 40 and he was awful from 3 as well. But you need to this is big with them. Your defense isn't great. So when you have open threes, you need to make them.
Correct. Now, Caden, talking about a team that has been on the rise as of late, looking really nice, and they're creeping and crawling with probably still a top 3 player in the NBA today. And Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, we had harped on them a couple months back at the start of the year when they were looking awful. They were looking like a very bad basketball team.
They were.
Yeah, they were. And now, lately, they are 8-2 in their last 10. They're a game up on the Bucks for the 4 seed right now. So as of right now, they are hosting a playoff series. The Pacers, my bad.
Sorry.
The Bucks are a game up on the Pacers for the 4 seed right now. So as of now, they would be hosting a playoff series. 3.5 back of the Knicks for the 3 seed. So that is still in reach. The Bucks 8-2 in their last 10. They've been playing a lot of good games. They did end up losing to the Magic yesterday, which isn't great because the Magic just can't score.
Yeah, we talked about the Magic.
But they killed the Mavs, beat the Hawks, killed the Mavs again, beat our Nuggets. And then before that, their only other loss was a 3-point road loss to the Rockets. And those are only the loss in the last 10. So they're looking really good. Giannis is, without a doubt, I think still, he's still a top 3. He's still a top 3. I think you
go Jokic, Shea, Giannis.
I think I go Jokic, Giannis,
Shea
or Luka.
I'm fine with actually. Yeah, that's completely fine. Well, just this season, I'm talking about for MVP rankings. Right now.
MVP rank. Yeah, it's a little different. But yeah, Giannis, top 3 player in the league. Dame's looking good. The Kyle Kuzma fit, we talked about that after the trade on one. That's looking good. And getting him back to that role player role is looking very well. We've seen his defense come out a lot.
It just takes so much pressure off.
Yeah. He's not having to be one of the front guys of the offense. He's now that 3-4 role offensively, so we can see more of his perimeter defense show, and it's looking a lot. It's helping their defense a lot because they're not the greatest. This season, they haven't been the great. Like we've seen in the past where they have been a good defensive team. It's been a little worse this year, but you still have Giannis, who is a DPOY winner just I guess like 4 years ago now. But he's still a very good defender. You have a good defender on the team, and getting Kuz there is helping because he's been contributing offensively, and having him just on that perimeter defensively has been helping them a lot.
Most definitely, Caden. And now finally wrapping up with a team that's been on the decline as of late, Caden, and has dropped a few spots in their seeding, and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, so the Grizzlies were kind of at the top. They were holding the 2 seed for a little while in this conference.
Month stretch.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's still very convoluted between the Nuggets, Lakers, and Grizzlies, between those 2 and 4 seeds, which is why we need to see the Nuggets start winning basketball games. But as of right now, the Grizzlies are game and a half out of no, 2 games out of the 2 seed, a game and a half out of the 3 seed, but they are 3-7 in their last 10. They've had some bad losses in here where, yes, they beat the Mavericks just the other night, lost to the Thunder, lost to the Hawks, lost to the Spurs, who just
lost Wemby.
You lost to the Knicks. You beat the Suns, as you should. Lost to the Cavs, lost to the Pacers, lost to the Clippers. Like, they just keep losing, especially to conference opponents, and it's just not been good for them. The one, I guess, kind of bright side is in that game against the Mavericks, John Morant had 31 points. It's only when do you think his last 30-point game before this was?
I think it was 2 years ago, Caden. Right?
It was December 12th. This past December 12th was his last 30-point game this season. He had gone over 3 months without a 30-point game. He has been just not great offensively. Like, he'll have some 20-point games, and then he also scattered in here. He's a 12, a 16, 10, 11, 16, 19. His offensive numbers just haven't been great this year. His assist numbers aren't bad, 7.5 assists, but his point production offensively has not been great, especially when he's supposed to be your primary scorer offensively. Like, it's good that you still have Desmond Bane offensively. Jalen Wells, who we talked about way back towards the start of the season, who's actually like second in Rookie of the Year odds right now, as only behind Stephon Castle with the Spurs. He's still looking great. Jaren Jackson Jr. is good, but he's been a little in and out of the lineup with injuries. It's just been weird for the Grizzlies where they have a bunch of good and not great players.
Correct.
And you're seeing them not play to what they've been doing most of the season.
Most definitely, Caden. And like you said, when you have John Morant, when you have a superstar like that, who had all the legal trouble, who had the injuries, and you had so many setbacks, you would like for him to start finally getting in a rhythm, especially when it comes time for this playoff time. And you'd hope that this 30-point game could kind of get him going. You hope that he can kind of find something, right? And you hope that that's what's going to be able to lead you. But realistically, I don't see the Grizzlies knocking off OKC. I don't see them knocking off the Lakers or the Nuggets when it comes down to playoff time, at least with the way they've been playing right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be tempted because right now they'd be hosting the first round series against the Rockets.
Yeah.
I know the Rockets haven't been playing great now. I'd be tempted to look at the Rockets to take that series.
Especially because they're hungry.
So yeah, they're young and hungry, and just the Grizzlies they've been kind of like a wishy-washy. Like, they'll play really good. Their offense is one of the best in the league, but also kind of like the Nuggets. They have a bad defense. Like, you have Jaren Jackson Jr., but that's about it.
Correct.
Like, you're giving up like 120, 130 a lot of these games. Like that game they beat the Suns in a week or so ago. The final score was 151 to 148. Yes, it did go to overtime, but there was only 25 points scored in overtime. Like, before that, you'd given up still 137 points. So their defense isn't great. You want to see, when you have a defensive player like Jaren Jackson Jr., you would like to see at least some of the other team help out defensively, because JJJ is great. He's looked like he could possibly win another DPOY. It's looking like him or Evan Mobley right now. They need to find something. John needs to get his stroke back offensively, because right now they're kind of in a free fall, and they could find their way out of, if this keeps happening, they can find their way out of even hosting a playoff series.
Correct. Very close. Well, Caden, that's all the big NBA action we had to talk about. Obviously, it was a big college-focused week, and that's probably going to be our main focus the next couple of weeks. But we're going to continue to give updates in NBA action. What should these people do before they go?
Yeah, make sure you guys like this video if you did enjoy. Leave a comment about any other NBA news you think we should talk about or anything we missed in this one. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload, and share this with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that.
Most definitely, we appreciate y'all. We thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.